As he said, Mr. Dexter, I am Patty Morris. I am the middle school principal here, but I am applying, and I am here before you as the next superintendent of Stillwater Central School District. I would like to present to you my entry plan for that. The entry plan really is about the first year, and it outlines what I plan to do in my first year's work as superintendent of Stillwater Central School District. Before you are the main points of my plan that I'll be presenting to you today, and really it's about relationship building, it's about reviewing emergency response plans, it's about collecting qualitative and quantitative information about our district to really make a plan to move us forward. It's about understanding and learning the budget process and where we are with our budget. It's about continuing to be visible and present in our community, in our district. And it's about being the voice, myself, of the Stillwater Central School District's mission. My entry plan really begins prior to July 1st before assuming the superintendency. And it's really about building relationships, starting with the board. Although I have board relationships now, that's different from the superintendent's seat. And my goal is to establish trust, open lines of communication for effective governance. It's so critical to review the emergency response plans for our district and our buildings. I've been a facilitator of these plans for many years, but from the superintendent's purview, it's very important to understand and ensure that the work that we've done continues to move forward. We consistently receive recommendations and commendations, and it's important to move forward on those plans and keep the active process alive. One of my goals is to meet with Dr. Majeka, our current superintendent, to really talk to him about the assurance that we will have a smooth transition of leadership here at Stillwater. And that includes reviewing current board practices, reviewing what policy practices we have, and policy review practices through the Erie 1 BOCES. That's coming around. Talking to him about our current budget, and any priorities that the district has at this time. I know so many people here, but I don't know everyone, honestly. And it's really important for me to enhance and build relationships across the district. And this is all pre-July 1, really working to understand people's perceptions and values here at Stillwater. That includes our staff, our students, our parents, our unions, our community organizations, and our community leaders. Pre-July 1st, I'll be reviewing that qualitative data. Really, what is the value? What are the values people have? What is the goal that people have in mind in our aspirations for Stillwater Central School District? Those informal meetings will be very important. In addition, I'll collect quantitative information, and that's about K-12 programming, about our budget. It's really about understanding the operating systems, the measurable pieces of data that we have before us, and I can look at all of that information and put it together to paint the bigger picture of where we want to go in Stillwater. I'll review the 2016-2017 budget with Mr. Method. I have a relationship with Mr. Method at this time, but at this point, that's an integral relationship that I need to develop and move into with Mr. Method, and understanding for this, at this point, the expected expenditures and revenues for 2016-2017, as the budget will already be underway. In July of 2016, I'll assume the superintendency. And at this time, that's where the real work begins, of taking all of that information, putting it together, and understanding what district goals we have and what building goals we have, and making sure everything is aligned. I've always, through my entire career, looked through the lens of what's best for students. And at this point, it's critical that I conduct formal interviews with people in the district and in our community to understand their aspirations and their expectations for our district. It's as if, and it's actually considered a model, the window pane model, where I am able to see through every window that other people see through, and from the perspective of the superintendent, understand everyone's perspective as we move forward and develop goals. The first set of interviews I'll conduct is with the Board of Education. I want to ensure that we have a solid communications plan, that we have a plan for governance. I want to know, what are the board's non-negotiables? What district goals do they have in mind? It's so important for me to meet with staff. What are their values and perceptions? What are their needs? And it's incredibly important for me to meet with student focus groups. Ask them, well, what courses and what programs have helped you here at Stillwater? What advice would you give me coming into the superintendency? What are you proud of as a Stillwater student? Those types of questions help me create the big picture. I'll conduct meetings with the district office staff, district office being the face of the district, so important. I'll meet with community and parent groups, both the Stillwater PTA and the Stillwater Educational Foundation, providing such enrichment for our district. The Stillwater PTA through programming, K-12, Stillwater Educational Foundation, offering up over $70,000 worth of grants to fund programs here. What do they see as our strengths here? And what are their areas of concern? And how can I help them? It's my goal to meet with our union leadership, the CSEA, the Stillwater Teachers Association, the Stillwater Administrators Association. What are your needs? What do you value? And to develop that rapport and that trust, that's critical. Because we, as you see, as I'm going through these slides, it's the bigger picture of everyone's perspective and understanding and collaborating and working together to make this the best district in the area. I'm very interested in the village and town dynamics, meeting with the town and village boards to understand that better. Because again, we work together, and it's important that we do. Our emergency responders. I will tell you that the relationship that we have, being the facilitator of the emergency response plans for the district, are incredible. But we need to continue and build those relationships. We had 2 lockdown drills last week, three lockdown drills last week, and at each one we had 8 police officers across 3 different departments. Stillwater PD, the Sheriff's Department, New York State Police. Those relationships are so incredibly important to continue because our plans are active and we need to maintain, we need to continue with the recommendations. We had very few recommendations and many commendations because we've made changes that they recommended last year. But it continues and it's active. It's important to foster and continue to build those relationships with the Stillwater Area Community Center and Stillwater Free Library. Again, providing programs for our kids. What can we do to help foster that relationship and make it stronger? The Saratoga National Historical Park, field trips, kindergarten through 8th grade already occurring. We had the Wilkinson Trail project last year where students from Stillwater narrate the Wilkinson Trail in the park. So you can go hear them, or anyone from around the world can go hear Stillwater students narrating that trail. What else can we do? Internships, what other opportunities? Environmental science major, I'm sure, Mr. Bill. And how can we offer up opportunities for our students and connect with the businesses around us, the park. The TechSmart program. We're very fortunate here at Stillwater to be able to send our students to the TechSmart program through Hudson Valley Community College, where they can actually leave 12th grade with 1 year of an associate's degree under their belt. There's so much more, it seems, that we can do. When I drive through town, I don't see a yellow blinking light. I see opportunities for our kids. There are businesses everywhere. And I believe that those people and those businesses would be more than willing to help our kids out. We just haven't asked yet. We need to ask. It's my job as superintendent to promote advocacy, to reach out to policymakers for a fair foundation aid formula, to eliminate the gap elimination adjustment, and to promote advocacy for our school and our district, for our schools in our district, through our BOCES. I'll meet with our administrative team to discuss our district goals, our building goals, what professional development has been going on in the buildings, to develop an ongoing calendar for leadership team meetings weekly so that that discourse continues and happens on a weekly basis at least. Communication, K-12, it's key. And to make sure that we're providing professional development for our new administrators. Beyond the early stages of meeting with Mr. Methane, it's very important that I have a solid relationship, working relationship with him in the budget process. And that includes reviewing those expenditures, expected expenditures and revenues, our fund balance, our reserves, understanding the status, where we stand with those, and developing a strategic planning process for the budget, including a communications plan, so that we get the word out to both internally and externally about our budget, making it a transparent process. It's also important that I touch base with other rural superintendents whom I have connections with. See what they're doing for funding. How can we also support our programs differently? You know that Global Foundries recently gave out over $160,000 to, and one of those grants went to Shen, which is great, PTA, but our PTA didn't get it. And I look at that and I think there's more we can do. There's money out there. Okay, I love this cartoon. It's really about establishing defined and measurable goals across the district K-12. In education, if we are not moving forward, we are moving backwards. And it's my job to be a catalyst for change for some of the things that we need to have happen for a K-12 program. This is actually, my mother-in-law's not here, this is her report card from 1948 in second grade. This is one page of a second grade behind it report card, one page from second grade in 2016. Now you'll say, well, yeah, 70 years have passed almost, you know. So of course, education's going to change. But let me tell you, now, and you know, education changes. It's not every 7 years, every 7 months, 7 weeks, 7 days sometimes. We have to keep up with those changes and do right by our students. We knew the expectations had to change and that they're capable of more. So here are the important topics that I want to share with you, that I see before me, that I believe that qualitative and quantitative data will support, but it needs to be collected. It's important to develop Board of Education goals, both short-term and a strategic plan. And I wholeheartedly believe that we need a master operational plan. Put it in writing. Our district goals, our strategic plan, our management plans for both academic and operational procedures. Put it out to the public. Put it in writing. Have that plan. K-12 continuity and academic alignment is essential. We've been working toward that. We need to continue that work to ensure that students are progressing through their education fluidly, and that they're acquiring all of the skills that they need to be successful in whatever program, vocation that they end up in. We need to become data informed. We need to become a results culture here. And I don't mean collect more data. I mean use that data to determine what students need. The underachievers, the overachievers, the students who are progressing in the middle. We have so much, but we need to use that data to direct our instructional practices and our instruction. STEM integration is important, as we know. We look at one of the grants that just went through this educational foundation was for engineering kits for our elementary and middle schools. Thank you, Mr. Morcombe, for writing that grant. And one of the things about STEM integration is that we need more project-based learning. We need more next-gen science standards say. We need engineering in our classrooms. And it's not even really just about STEM, it's about STEAM. Throw in the arts there. How can we coordinate our efforts? How can we? Through administrative and teacher leadership. Administrators need to get together more, have more opportunities for that discourse. What's going on in the buildings, both operationally, academically? What innovative programs are happening? How can we align them? Maybe we can't across buildings, but I'm sure we can in some areas. So communication is key, both internal and externally. We have several avenues for getting information out there, out to the public, but our internal communication systems need to be tweaked, need to be planned. We need a solid communication for communication. And I go back to emergency planning and preparedness. If kids aren't safe, they're not learning. They need to not just be safe, they need to feel safe. I believe that wholeheartedly as well. I believe the superintendent has a direct role in that and should be part of that team. It's my pleasure to attend events here and be with our kids and be with you with our kids. It's what I love to do. But I want to visit our schools and our classrooms as well. I want to have kitchen table conversations with our public. Have our community invite me in, host me in their home, tell me what they aspire to our school to be. What do they aspire for our school? Do they have concerns? What strengths do they see? Do they understand our district goals and what input do they have? Because it's difficult. I think about time as a commodity nowadays, and people don't have the time. As much as emergency preparedness is essential, it's difficult for people to come out and hear about our plan. Let me go to them. Try something new. It's so important to build, revise, and maintain our practices, to honor our accomplishments and celebrate our traditions. I love this district. I've been celebrating traditions here my whole life. It's important that we continue and we build new traditions through public forums, board meetings. Get the word, celebrate out loud what we do here. We're an awesome place. We do awesome things for kids through the support of our staff, parents, community. Let's celebrate out loud. Warrior pride. You would be here if you didn't have it. It takes a whole village to raise a child. It takes that collaboration and that openness and that transparency to bring us all together, because we all have that same goal. So I promise to bring a sense of duty, responsibility, and purpose required of a leader to this position. And I promise to be the voice of the Stillwater Central School District mission.